You are about to watch a Top Hat production. Please subscribe and click on notifications. Enjoy the show.
We have to jump right into the news, so forgive me. I always miss something. One audio button, one this, one that. But I'm here now. I'm Minister Charles Nolen, and you are watching National and World News Tonight. Tonight, 5 major stories are dominating headlines across America and around the world. The United States and China are holding extremely high-stakes talks in Beijing. Artificial intelligence, investment in reshaping the economy at breathtaking speed. Consumers are feeling the pressure of inflation once again. Questions are growing over global stability in the Middle East. And finally, many Americans are asking whether the economy they are seeing on Wall Street truly reflects the reality they are living on Main Street. Tonight, we break it all down clearly, calmly, and carefully. Let's begin. The biggest international story tonight centers around meetings taking place between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi in Beijing. The talks come during a period of intense geopolitical pressure involving Taiwan trade disputes, artificial intelligence, semiconductor technology, military tensions, and global economic uncertainty. President Xi warned that mishandling the Taiwan issue could lead to what he described as clashes and even conflicts. At the same time, both sides are publicly saying they want cooperation instead of confrontation. Now, here is why this matters so much. The United States and China are the 2 largest economic powers on Earth. When these 2 countries cooperate, global markets usually stabilize. When tensions rise, the entire world feels it. Everything from electronics, shipping, manufacturing, oil prices, medicine, computer chips, and even grocery prices can be affected. Tonight, investors around the world are watching closely for the sign that tariffs may be reduced or trade restrictions eased. Reports indicate that both governments may be considered limited tariff reductions on certain goods. If that happens, some industries could experience relief, but experts caution that deep disagreements remain. The United States continues expressing concern over Chinese military activity near Taiwan, while China strongly opposes American military and economic involvement in the region. Artificial intelligence is also becoming a central issue. Both nations understand that whoever dominates AI infrastructure, advanced computing, and semiconductor production could shape the future balance of global power. This is no longer just about economics. This is about technological leadership, military readiness, cybersecurity, national security, and global influence. Meanwhile, many businesses simply want stability. Major investors and technology companies are urging both governments to avoid escalation and maintain predictable economic relationships. And tonight, ordinary Americans are left wondering what all this means for them. The answer is simple. If tensions calm down, markets could remain stable. If tensions worsen, consumers could once again face rising prices, supply chain disruptions, and increased economic pressure. The story is still developing, and the world is watching. Artificial intelligence continues to dominate economic conversations worldwide. Massive investment into AI technology is transforming nearly every major industry, from finance to healthcare, to transportation, to media, to customer service. AI systems are rapidly becoming integrated into everyday life. Companies are spending enormous amounts of money building data centers, developing advanced chips, and expanding AI infrastructure. Some analysis now compare the current AI investment wave to the early internet boom. Technology stocks have surged. Semiconductor companies have exploded in value, and major investors continue pouring billions into AI development. But tonight, there are also growing warnings. Some economists fear the market may be becoming too dependent on AI excitement. Others warn that electricity demands from massive data centers are straining power systems. And many workers are asking difficult questions. Will AI create jobs or eliminate them? Will these systems help humanity or eventually replace human decision-making in critical areas? Already, companies are using AI to write reports, answer customer questions, generate video, create images, monitor systems, and even assist in legal and medical analysis. The technology is advancing at extraordinary speed. Some experts believe society is not fully prepared for how quickly this transformation is happening. At the same time, supporters argue that AI could increase productivity, accelerate scientific discovery, improve medical research, and create entirely new industries. Tonight, one thing is certain. Artificial intelligence is no longer some futuristic concept. Governments around the world are now racing to decide how these systems should be regulated. Questions involving privacy, ethics, misinformation, employment, surveillance, and national security are becoming increasingly urgent. And perhaps the biggest question of all is this: can humanity control the technology it is creating? Or will the technology begin controlling humanity? That may become one of the defining questions of our generation. Tonight, millions of Americans continue struggling with higher prices. Inflation concerns remain a major issue across the country. While some areas of the economy have shown strength, many households say everyday living expenses are becoming increasingly difficult. Gasoline prices remain elevated. Energy costs are putting pressure on transportation and shipping. Food prices continue frustrating consumers. And many Americans say their paychecks simply are not stretching as far as they once did. I want to give you a personal instance. I went into a grocery store, which I will keep anonymous for now. And if I went into a different store, like Publix, and I will use their name because they're such a fine company, and something happens, like I break something, they'll take it back and replace it with an item. But you go to some of these other supermarkets, and let me tell you something. You better ask what their return policy is, because I was told under no uncertain terms, if you cross this line right here, the door going out, it doesn't matter what happens to the product. It's yours. And we're not going to give you your money back or replace the item. Now, that can happen too. This is the kind of economic pressure we're all feeling. And this is about food. Energy markets remain unstable. Tariff uncertainty continues affecting trade. And the explosive growth of AI infrastructure is increasing electricity demand in many regions. Some experts now say the economy is entering what they describe as a K-shaped environment. In simple terms, wealthier Americans with investments may continue benefiting from rising markets, while middle-class and lower-income households struggle with rising costs. That divide is becoming more visible. Stock markets have recovered strongly in recent months, but many Americans watching tonight are likely asking, if the economy is supposedly strong, why does daily life still feel financially stressful? That question is becoming politically powerful. The Federal Reserve also faces a difficult balancing act. If interest rates stay high, borrowing becomes expensive. If rates are lowered too quickly, inflation could worsen. And tonight, Economists openly admit there are no easy solutions. Consumers continue adjusting their habits, families are cutting spending, people are delaying major purchases, and financial uncertainty remains a major emotional burden across the country. Now, here is the important point. Economic statistics matter. But the emotional reality people feel in their daily lives matters too. People judge the economy not only by stock charts, but by grocery bills. Not only by employment numbers, but by whether they can afford rent, insurance, health care, and transportation. And tonight, that frustration remains very real for many Americans. Another major issue tonight involves ongoing instability in the Middle East. Although officials have discussed ceasefires and de-escalation efforts involving Iran, tensions remain fragile. The Strait of Hormuz continues attracting global attention. Why does this area matter so much? Well, it does, because a significant percentage of the world's oil supply moves through that narrow shipping route. Any disruption there can immediately impact global energy prices. Military operations in the region have increased concerns about shipping security, international trade, and the possibility of broader conflict. American military assets have reportedly been involved in protecting commercial traffic moving through the area. At the same time, diplomatic negotiations continue behind the scenes. And tonight, world leaders are attempting to prevent a larger regional conflict. The stakes are enormous. Higher oil prices affect nearly every industry. Transportation costs rise. Manufacturing becomes more expensive. Air travel costs can increase. And eventually, consumers often feel the impact directly. This is why international stability matters, even to people who may feel disconnected from foreign affairs. Global events eventually influence local realities. Meanwhile, security experts continue warning about cyber threats, infrastructure vulnerabilities, and increasing overlap between technology and warfare. Artificial intelligence, satellite systems, drones, and cyber capabilities are changing modern conflict rapidly. Tonight's world is far from different from the world many people grew up in. Conflicts are no longer fought only with tanks and airplanes. Battles now involve computer systems, information networks, and energy grids, and digital infrastructure. And because of that, governments around the world are investing heavily in both military modernization and cybersecurity. For many Americans, these stories can feel overwhelming. Trust me, they do. But understanding the connections between global events and everyday life has never been more important. Tonight, perhaps the biggest story is not one single headline. It is the growing feeling among many Americans that society is moving through a period of major transition. Technology is changing rapidly. Politics remain deeply divided. Economic pressure continues affecting families. And many people feel emotionally exhausted from constant uncertainty. Some Americans feel optimistic about innovation and economic opportunity. Others feel worried about instability, rising costs, automation, and the speed of social change. And tonight, there is another important issue we should discuss: information overload. Tell me you haven't touched that in your own life at some point. People are consuming enormous amounts of information every day. Social media, streaming platforms, breaking news alerts, online arguments, political commentary, artificial intelligence-generated content. And for many people, separating truth from manipulation is becoming increasingly difficult. This is why discernment matters. This is why critical thinking matters. This is why wisdom matters, and this is why calm, measured discussion remains important. Fear spreads quickly, anger spreads quickly, misinformation spreads quickly, but wisdom takes patience. And wisdom requires people willing to slow down, think carefully, and seek truth honestly. Tonight, America faces serious challenges, but America has also faced serious challenges before. History reminds us that difficult seasons eventually pass. Strong nations survive by remaining grounded in wisdom, stability, accountability, and faith. And perhaps tonight, more than anything else, people are searching for reassurance. Reassurance that stability can return. Reassurance that truth still matters. Reassurance that humanity can use technology wisely instead of destructively. Reassurance that society can still find common ground. And reassurance that the future can still be hopeful. Before we leave tonight, let me say this: the world moves very fast. Headlines change constantly, markets rise and fall, governments argue technology evolves, but wisdom, integrity, discernment, and faith remain timeless. Never allow fear to completely control your thinking. Never stop asking questions. Never stop seeking truth. And never underestimate the importance of staying spiritually grounded during uncertain times. Because in a noisy world filled with confusion, discernment becomes priceless. For National and World News Tonight, I'm Minister Charles Nolen. Stay informed, stay discerning, and above all, stay anchored in faith. Always follow the will and wisdom of God. And I will see you on the next National and World News Tonight with Minister Charles Nolen. Good night, and God bless you.
Thank you for watching a Top Hat production.